Hello and welcome to a new episode of I Can Do. I am Benjamin Lee. I hope and pray the new year is working really well for you. In North Texas, it is nice and cold. We have this Arctic blast that has affected the entire country, so I hope you're doing okay. I want to share with you something that I've decided I'd like to do on this podcast. I Can Do podcast. If you've been listening for a long time, this started back in 2019. So we've been doing this podcast. I've been doing the podcast for 4 years. It's been a tremendous blessing. Over 200 episodes, more than 40 guests. And I've talked about a lot on this podcast: faith, family, fitness, food, coaching, books, life, just a variety of things. We've had a lot of fun with the podcast. The podcast will continue. I want to make a shift, however, in the focus of the podcast. Now, from time to time, there will be different topics, I think, but I came to the conclusion I want to do something that I've never done before. I believe there is something about going over and beyond what you've done before in the past. And I've also thought about how I can give glory to the Lord with this podcast. Recently, I did a marathon back in December. I have not talked about that on the podcast. I like to talk more about that. It was fantastic and it was so challenging, but it's opened up a mindset for me, or it's opened up some doors that maybe were closed in my mind that now I'm back with certain things. And I want to do something with this podcast. Here's what I'm going to do. Beginning with this episode, I want to read through the Bible. I want to read through the Bible one chapter at a time and give you a quick recap, some thoughts about that particular chapter. The Bible is a best-selling book in the world. The Bible is a book of 66 books, and it claims that it is written and inspired by God. I believe that to be true. Now, some may not believe that listening to this podcast. I could lose some people who are listening to this podcast making this decision, reading the Bible one chapter at a time. However, I believe that great things will come from it. There's a lot of confusion about the Bible and a lot of people who are interested in the Bible, but don't really know where to start. So I like to begin by reading a chapter, and there's going to be a lot more episodes doing this because this isn't going to take 10 years. I like to get it done in less than 5 years. There's 1,189 chapters in the Bible. So we're going to start in the beginning. So I invite you to open up your Bible or just listen. And at the end of the reading, I will give you a couple of bullet points to think about what's being taught, what's being said in this particular chapter. And hopefully this will help you in understanding the story of the Bible. Here we go. Genesis chapter 1, verse number 1. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The earth was without form and void, and darkness was over the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God was hovering over the face of the waters. And God said, "Let there be light." And there was light. And God saw that the light was good. And God separated the light from the darkness. God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And there was evening and there was morning the first day. And God said, "Let there be an expanse in the midst of the waters, and let it separate the waters from the waters." And God made the expanse and separated the waters that were under the expanse from the waters that were above the expanse. And it was so. And God called the expanse heaven. And there was evening and there was morning the second day. And God said, "Let the waters under the heavens be gathered together into one place, and let the dry land appear." And it was so. God called the dry land earth, and the waters that were gathered together he called seas. And God saw that it was good. And God said, "Let the earth sprout vegetation, plants yielding seed, and fruit trees bearing fruit in which is their seed, each according to its kind, on the earth." And it was so. The earth brought forth vegetation, plants yielding seed according to their own kinds, and trees bearing fruit in which is their seed, each according to its kind. And God saw that it was good. and there was evening, and there was morning, the third day. And God said, let there be lights in the expanse of the heavens to separate the day from the night. And let them be for signs, and for seasons, and for days, and for years and years. And let them be lights in the expanse of the heavens to give light upon the earth. And it was so. And God made the two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night, and the stars. And God set them in the expanse of the heavens to give light on the earth, to rule over the day and over the night, and to separate the light from the darkness. And God saw that it was good. And there was evening, and there was morning, the fourth day. And God said, let the waters swarm with swarms of living creatures, and let birds fly above the earth across the expanse of the heavens. So God created the great sea creatures and every living creature that moves, with which the waters swarm according to their kinds, and every winged bird according to its kind. And God saw that it was good. And God blessed them, saying, be fruitful and multiply, and fill the waters and the seas, and let birds multiply on the earth. And there was evening, and there was morning, the fifth day. And God said, let the earth bring forth living creatures according to their kinds, livestock, and creeping things, and beasts of the earth according to their kinds. And it was so. And God made the beasts of the earth according to their kinds, and the livestock according to their kinds, and everything that creeps on the ground according to its kind. And God saw that it was good. Then God said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the heavens, and over the livestock, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps on the earth. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created him. Male and female, he created them. And God blessed them. And God said to them, be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the heavens, and over every living thing that moves on the earth. And God said, behold, I have given you every plant yielding seed that is on the face of all the earth, and every tree with seed in its fruit. You shall have them for food. And to every beast of the earth, and to every bird of the heavens, and to everything that creeps on the earth, everything that has the breath of life, I have given every green plant for food. And it was so. And God saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good. And there was evening, and there was morning, the sixth day. That is Genesis chapter 1. Couple of thoughts as we recap. Number one, the Bible begins with God. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Number two, God is a source of all creation. He is outside of time, space, and matter. He spoke everything into existence. We see his sovereignty. We see his power. We see his creativity. Number three, all things were created in 6 days. This would also include dinosaurs, although they are not specifically mentioned by that term, which was coined in the 1800s. Number four, man was created in the image of God, something distinct about mankind. Male and female, made in the image of God. God is spirit, and we have a spirit. We are spirit beings. We are flesh from the dust of the earth, and yet we are made in the image of God. We have a mind. We are creative. We have free will. And there is something unique about mankind that is distinct from the animal kingdom. If you notice number 5, mankind actually has dominion over the animal kingdom. So Genesis chapter 1 is the beginning of the heavens and the earth, the beginning of the animal kingdom, the beginning of mankind. And it's a great place for all of us to think about as we begin a new year. So tomorrow, Lord willing, we will read Genesis chapter 2. Take care. God bless.